Colston, are you ready for some rock and roll?
Welcome to the Contrarians and welcome to Wednesday. This is the Wednesday live stream, and tonight we have assembled a panel, and we are here to talk about live albums with great covers. Tonight is live, the chat room will be open, and we want to hear from you. So without any further ado, let's get this episode started. Welcome to the Contrarians, and tonight is yet another live chat. It's Wednesday, everybody. Tonight we have a panel assembled. Martin Popoff, Jamie Laszlo, and Peter Kerr. We are talking live albums with great covers. So the chat room's open. We want to hear from you, but without any further ado, we've got to get all these cranked out in an hour. So let's get started. Who wants to go first? Doesn't matter.
Go ahead, guys.
All right, let's just go clockwise. I'm going to start with Martin, Peter, and then Jamie, and then follow with me. So, like I said, we want to hear from you in the chat, and we do appreciate everyone for coming on tonight. So, Martin, let's start off with you. What is your first one?
All right. So my first one is, all of the ones I have a couple of cheated in honorable mentions to make a point about them. But my first one doesn't really have a point, so this is going to be my quickest kind of thing. But I went with Genesis Seconds Out. I've always liked this cover. It makes the band look super majestic. It's not a Hypnosis cover. Genesis did have some of that going in their catalog, but it's just a really cool live shot with dramatic lighting that makes the band look super smart and super majestic like they are. I mean, this is at the peak of their powers before they, well, I actually like the later material better, but before they really start to change. On the back, you've got an even more dramatic, spooky, live shot there. And then on the inside, you've just got a spread of live shots like that, which I could take it or leave it. But no, this just really makes them look aristocratic, like British rock royalty, like they are. But it's the standard, non-imaginative idea of just chucking a live shot on front of your album covers. Genesis Seconds Out.
Good. Martin, I just wanted to make sure I heard that correctly. I believe we quoted you saying that you like the later material better. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, my favorite album by them is Abacab, and I like Duke a lot as well.
Well, not too late, but
I love Abacab.
No, my favorite is the 1983 album with the shapes on it. That's my favorite.
We're going to be talking about that tomorrow, aren't we?
Yes. Yep. So that's a little bit of a teaser. There you go. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Martin. Peter Kerr.
I think I'll start off with Whitesnake, one of my favorite bands, and we'll go with the 1980 album Live in the Heart of the City. Nice. So this album cover kind of makes the band look super heroic, majestic, and I think it's one of their best album covers. So basically, when you've got a band from 1987 onwards that just had symbols and was very nondescript and didn't have any of the band members, this one is definitely one of the top shelf Whitesnake album covers. It's probably one of their best albums in regards to live material, because early Whitesnake was where the live, basically they were where it was at. Their first couple of albums had very dull production, and the Whitesnake show was where it was vibrant and live and organic. And this is probably the start of, they had a really good run of albums after this. I think Come and Get It, Saints and Sinners, and then into Slide It In, where, they were more live and more organic. But this is, the album that I think everybody should start off with in the early classic Whitesnake lineup of Marsden Moody, Neil Murray, John Lord, Ian Pace, of course, David Coverdale. Live in the Heart of the City from 1980.
And it's a rite of passage when you get illustrated. It means you're going places, right? So
absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Michael Easter, we're doing album covers and not cover tunes, just to make sure so everyone knows.
Maybe that's another show.
Oh my God, Analog Kid's back tonight. Analog Kid was on the show last night. Jamie is great, and I have an amazing voice. Seems to be a running theme with this.
Nice.
Hey, Peter Grant. Hey, thank you for everyone for showing up. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
All right, Jamie Laszlo, what's your pick?
All right, I'm going to go with my first one. This cover kind of tells a story if you look at it. I'm going to go with Kansas, 2 for the show. I used to have it on vinyl, but it was skipping, so I just got rid of it. I love the cover because you can see what happened about 30 seconds to a minute and a half before this picture was taken. These women came in after the show. They don't know shit about Kansas. One lady put down her bucket. The other lady put down her mop. They picked up a program that was left behind and said, Betsy, what the hell happened here tonight? Well, let's take a look. And they looked through the program and they said, I guess it was these guys on stage. And you can picture them putting it back down, picking back up their mop and going about their business.
Yeah.
The picture almost moves because I'm picturing the whole story for about 3 minutes in my mind.
It's got a Rush exit stage left vibe to it too, doesn't it?
A little bit, yeah.
It does remind me of something else, but I don't know exactly. But yeah, Rush exit stage left. I see that, but it's almost like a photograph of a Norman Rockwell painting. I don't know. That's what I keep thinking.
Yeah. Nice.
All right, my choice, and I've already kind of told you guys what it is prior. I don't know, but I think this is a great record. And as far as the live album goes, I like the album cover. It's simple. You've got 3 pictures of Sammy. And this album has a killer version of Young Girl Blues. That's Donovan's song. Freaking, the whole record is killer. If you want to really hear Sammy Hagar live, this is your record. This is like that era when I saw him when I was a kid. So I guess I'm a little bit partial. But yes, I like this cover. I like this record. Top notch.
Nice. Okay, we got James Gang Live being mentioned here. We've got Kate Bush being mentioned. I can't picture that one off the top of my head. Santana Lotus, title in the 4th corner. Understated Mandela-like image. Aussie tribute. Yeah, that's a neat one with Aussie lifting Randy up, and that sort of sent into sort of a duochrome of the photo, right?
Yeah.
Sleep Live at Third Man Records. Yeah. All right, so
all right, cool. All right,
my next choice, I've got kind of a theme going here, so there's some supporting evidence with some cheated in honorable mentions, but I'm going with April Wine Live. This made the band look incredibly badass, and like a really heavy evil band, and it actually is kind of a heavy album. Everybody's heard my story. Have you of the? Oh, look at that! I'll show you that in a second. Of going to the dump with my buddy and finding a pristine box about this thick full of these posters just in time for a dance in 1975 at 12 years old, and we absolutely pasted all 4 walls top to bottom of my family's very big rec room for this dance with a whole bunch of these posters, and I only have one left, but that was really cool. And that was the day that my top pick arrived and ruined the dance and sent all the girls home. I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, so this goes with that. This is the April Wine Tour posters. And look at this. We've got a felt-penned BOC logo on the other side. Kind of cool. But the whole point here, and to make a theme of this, is these live albums that made the band look super heavy when they really weren't that heavy. And a classic one in that department is Grand Funk Live. I hope I'm not taking anybody's choices here. I don't know whose they are.
Oh, no, you're not. But DC Tomb Time does have a comment about that.
Okay, well, hang on. Let me just get through. I just got a couple here. And then, the other ones where we got fooled and thinking this was a heavy band and we were always disappointed was Bob Seger band Live Bullet. With that silver writing, it's called Live Bullet. And then even 9 Tonight looks like a heavy album. But by this point, we were savvy enough to realize Bob Seger wasn't a heavy metal band. But even that looked pretty heavy. And
how about this one, Martin?
Oh, yeah,
that looks pretty heavy. God in this.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, exactly. I just want to know what's happening with Neil in that photo. I'm not sure.
He's like holding a baby that's not there.
Yeah.
Right.
But this is a funny one because this, this is kind of a heavy album. I'm famous for not really being a Grand Funk fan and thinking they're as heavy as most people do, but that's a really heavy looking live shot. Like they're just giving her, right? Total violence. So yeah, that's my theme of, and even the Mott the Hoople live feels a little bit that way. And yeah, that's the theme of these albums that, by bands that aren't super heavy, but you can make these bands look crazy heavy, right?
Yep. And sorry, everybody, that this is blocking your face.
Yeah.
But like DC, I'm sure Grant will agree with me that the first Grand Funk live album captures the raw fury and intensity of the early concerts. While I'm like Martin, while he might be able to handle Grand Funk, I absolutely despise Grand Funk.
Yeah.
And this is like a running joke.
Yeah.
The only other thing I want to say, Martin, is that April Wine album in that first era prior to first glance, this is the only decent album cover. Now, how they were able to come up with this, with all the other album covers being so horrible, I have no idea.
Oh, I love that show you guys did. You got to check out Grant's full-on ranking show of all the albums. It was great. I think
Tim Derling, John Clauser, and Dave Lubin. It was interesting.
Yeah, it was good. So what do we got here? Humble Pie Rock in the Fillmore. I Made in Japan. Yeah, I almost picked whatchamacallit.
Thin Lizzy, Live and Dangerous.
Well, there you go. Thin Lizzy, classic. That's a classic one.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Next.
All right, Peter, you're up.
Well, I'm going to go with one of the viewers' suggestions. Ozzy and Randy tribute. This was released in 1987. This was like the summer of heavy metal. I think the top 5 in the US charts were all heavy metal acts, and this hit number 3 or number 4 in the charts. I love the cover. It kind of sort of portrays the lunacy of Ozzy, and you've got this little whippet 5'2" genius guitar player, and he's lifting him up in the air, and he's just on fire. So this was my entry point to Ozzy and Randy because I came into it quite late. It's sublime. It's all the great live tracks of Randy, and for somebody who made so many few albums, the legend is looming and still going on. So that's my number 2 pick, Ozzy and Randy in tribute. I think it's a great photo, and it sums up the legend of Randy Rhoads and that Ozzy Osbourne band.
There's
annoying
a lot of
band name though, eh? Like the band name is very annoying. Like, the Randy Rhoads should have been spelled in the same font as tribute, and that would have been an Ozzy Osbourne album, right?
I always wonder. I know this might be contrarian, but I'm not sure if it's contrarian. But it always seemed like a cash grab for me. Like Sharon was in Ozzy's ear going, you know what? Everybody's talking about Randy. We probably should put something out. Yeah. They should have done it way earlier.
Grant, they're good marketers. They're good marketers.
I know. I guess they waited to the public really wanted something.
And you can't say that the band is Ozzy Osbourne, Randy Rhoads. It isn't. I mean, it's old material. The band was clearly called Ozzy Osbourne. So it's really annoying the way that goes. But yeah, great photo. Amazing.
It's a good one. Yeah. All right. Let's jump over to Jamie Laszlo. Jamie, what you got?
I'm going to pick this one before someone, one of the viewers, steals my thunder and picks it. I was going to save it for last, but I'm not now. This is my original from when I was 15 years old. I'm going to go with Live After Death.
Ah, nice.
Iron Maiden. Now, here's the story behind it. And I even got the little fake program in there. And to a 15-year-old who'd never seen Maiden, when you see the gatefold, oh, I was like, wow, how awesome would it be?
It's like Kiss Alive 2.
But here's the thing. I switched over high schools. I was in Catholic grade school and Catholic high school for 2 years in high school, and I switched over to public school. And I was new, like a month into the new school. In our English class, I had to do a speech. I picked to do a welcoming speech, and I welcomed my teacher to hell. And I drew this cover on 8x12 pieces of paper, and I made it like 7 feet tall by taping all the pieces together in the back. And I put it behind me, and I walked into the room with a cloak, and I stood in front of it, and I welcomed my teacher to hell.
Wow.
That might explain everything, gentlemen. I don't
and
know.
I played
kind of a scary story.
On a tape recorder before I walked in. I had someone press play for me.
Nice.
Yeah, as you can see, the Catholic grade school in high school, I was growing out of it.
Oh my
I
God.
think everyone had Iron Maiden on their pencil case in Australia, all the metal fans.
Oh yeah.
That was the best band logo.
Now, Brian McFadden had Live After Death, so you just got right in.
Oh,
right
snuck it in.
You snuck it in.
Yeah.
All right, there's a whole bunch.
Yeah.
God, there's so many. Blue Oyster Cult on your
idea.
feet or on your knees. There's Rich.
Mhm.
Hey, Rich, nice to see you.
Yeah.
Whole bunch.
All right, Jamie,
All
you
right.
go. Your turn.
Oh, my turn. Let me see. What do I
Oh
want?
yeah, Grant's turn.
Okay.
Yeah.
God, I was going to have props, but I didn't pull any. I'm going to go with the Who Live at Leeds. You might not think that this is such a great cover, but think about when it came out in 1970. It looks like a bootleg. No one was doing anything like this. Then you open it up and it's got all those inserts.
Yeah.
You know, how cool is that? If you're like, let's say you're a kid in 1970, you would love that. But I like this record, not because it's a great design, but it's also very creative. But yeah, you know what? It is a great design because it's groundbreaking at the time. So, you know, I'm not exactly sure what people would have thought when they saw it in the record bin. They might have thought it was a bootleg. So it probably did everything it was supposed to. So
What did it come with? Like signed contracts and
oh
stuff?
yeah, the Woodstock contract was
Yeah,
in there.
receipts
Yeah.
and things. Yeah, it was really
Receipt.
neat. Yeah.
There's a receipt.
Maybe you thought for a second, someone put this in by accident. I'm a
There's
millionaire.
been people putting stuff on eBay going, oh my God, I've got the Who Woodstock contract.
Yeah.
That was years ago, but it's true. People think they have something, but
Yeah.
I don't know. A brilliant marketing idea. So thus it fits within a great cover. All right. Let's see. What else? What are other people saying?
Tank Tube was talking about No Sleep Till Hammersmith, which is pretty good. I mean, I don't like the lighting of that one too much. I don't like how there's the band at the top. I looked at that one and thought, I'll punish it by not including it, kind of thing. Oh, Rush, All the World's a Stage. Yeah, a lot of people loved that one as kids. I remember thinking, everybody wanted to play that drum set that was sitting there, empty, right? It's the empty stage. Molly Hatchet, Double Trouble. Gives the entire culture of the band in one cover. The Fugs live black and white cover. I can't quite picture that one. Yeah.
Well, don't forget Billy Joel's Songs in the Attic, gentlemen.
That's a good album cover.
Yeah. Different.
All
Well,
right.
that leads to
Martin. Okay.
Yes, because Songs in the Attic is one that fits this theme, if I remember correctly. So my choice is Blue Oyster Cult, On Your Feet or On Your Knees. And what I love about this cover is it's just awesome, period. It would have been great for a studio album. But that's kind of my point, is that I like sometimes when bands go out of their way to do a cover that isn't so indicative or on the nose about being live. And this actually, it works out to be one of the most badass Blue Oyster Cult covers, period, with the church and the and the limo with the flag and the that writing that was
Good
on everybody's
logo.
case too, the big silver logo and the back cover with that. The inside was a little weird, with the guys all pasted in as the 5-man army in there. It's kind of silly. But the cover's great. And I just wanted to mention that Blue Oyster Cult was great at this period, because there they are again. That, believe it or not, is a live album. Like, what an amazing, amazing cover, right? Some Enchanted Evening. And even the title's really cool. Some Enchanted Evening. It's like a cool mention of a live album. Then they did it again with this one. Beautiful, beautiful Greg Scott, charcoal or pencil drawing kind of thing. Buddy mine owns the sketch of this, actually, with some changes that didn't get put in yet. For Here They Are with the Band, and it's the six-man lineup of the band, so they put both drummers in there as well. So, and then the gatefold's kind of weird. What's kind of neat about it is they give you some lyrics. You don't see that in a live album very often, but yeah, Extraterrestrial Live, bit of a mouthful for a title. And I just had this out for some reason, just to say, here's another one where it's not so obvious that it's a live album. That's kind of cool. Clash from Here to Eternity, a live album. So yeah, the theme there is kind of like Jamie's, right? That cool, like thinking a little more about putting together the live album.
I knew the Clash would somehow fit into here tonight.
Yeah. Well,
right.
I mean, doesn't London Calling look like a live album? It's even titled like a live album.
That's what I was thinking. That's exactly what it looks
100%.
like. 100%.
Yep.
Led Zeppelin, How the West Was Won. There you go. There's
yeah,
one.
yeah.
Peter
No,
Gabriel Plays Live. That's a good one. Well, I don't know. I
Yeah,
guess
I'm
it's
not
all right.
crazy about that one either.
Yeah, but some people like
too
it.
close to
There you
the
go.
face.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly. Yeah, too much of a close
Pete's
up.
trying to sell some records.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's go to Peter Kerr. Peter.
All right, my next one is I bought this in the day when I was a teenager at high school, and I bought it on the basis that this was a really badass, evil-looking album cover, and I'm talking about Live Evil, Black Sabbath. So there you go. I like the artwork on this. It really has all the sort of character, the sort of the drawings of all the main characters or themes of the songs. This was Ronnie James Dio's live hour album. There's a lot of acrimony. You can read about it between the band. It really split the band in two, but I think it's a fine album. It's recently had a reissue. I probably prefer the Ronnie James Dio doing the Heaven and Hell and Mob Rules songs on this live album than the old 70s. But for the theme of this show, I think this is, one of my favorite album covers. I love the, you're looking at it and you're seeing all these evil characters coming from the surf. Why? What's happening? Is this the apocalypse? Is this the Four Horsemen? And you've got this thunderbolt in the background of this of the painting. I think it's an awesome album cover and one that drew me into Black Sabbath. So that's my choice: Black Sabbath and Live.
And of course, you're back to Exit Stage Left again because they did a similar thing, but there they did it with photography, right? With all the characters waiting. Looking.
And there's the inner
through the window. Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah, pretty cool.
All right, Jamie.
And the remix of that sounds really, really good. This is a band that I wasn't into for the longest time. Of course, I knew the hits. I think the greatest hits was the only thing I had. Journey. I used to say Journey songs are like eating cotton candy. The first bite is good. Second bite, not as good. Third bite, I've had too much. About the third song. But as I gotten older, I come to appreciate Journey a lot more. Here's the thing with this album for decades, because they have, look at the names of Journey albums: Departure, Infinity, Escape, Frontiers. So Captured, it sounds like it belongs right in with those studio albums. I always thought it was a studio album.
Yeah.
Until about 5 years ago. And I do like the emblem. I think it's one of the cooler emblems. Yeah. So when I bought this for $1 in a dollar bin, near mint too, I put it on. I'm like, oh, it's a live album. Oh, Captured. Oh my goodness, that's cool. And how come it went over my head for 35 years? Yeah. So I'm picking this one because of my whoa moment that I had. So Journey, Captured.
Nice.
You bought that for $1 recently? You must have bought that
about
90s.
5 years ago. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
at a dollar sale.
You're not going to get those prices now, kids.
Yeah.
Let's see.
We've got to mention for UFO Strangers in the Night, which is kind of artsy, kind of different, right? I'm not crazy about that one. It's got, it's paying tribute to the crowd, right? The people in the crowd. Ceremony and Devotion. What else is the Empty Stage and All the Words? In All the Worlds, a Stage Compelling. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Analog Kid. Don't purchase the Mercury presses.
That's first thing in the morning to buy one. It's Burn It. Well, Brian, maybe some of those 70s ones might not be too bad.
Yeah.
All
right, Grant's choice.
All right, here we go. Hold on, I have to prepare. Okay, here we go. We're going to go right up the list. This is an album that came out in 1977, and the fans of this band were anticipating something or hoping the band would reunite or at least put out something. So by 77, we finally got the Beatles at the Hollywood Bowl. Now, what I like about this, it just screams class. You just got that nice logo, that nice font at the top, 2 tickets, because this represents 2 tickets from 64 and a 65 concert. But you open it up, if I only had something to open up, it's got like a shot of these young girls in the audience screaming. I mean, it captures a moment in time, but I think the cover's very classy, and it's minimal. I mean, it's the Beatles. You don't need that much. So, but as a kid, I thought this was, a gift from the gods. So it still makes a big impression on me. So Beatles at the Hollywood Bowl, 1977.
Nice.
Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, so my next choice is MC5 Kick Out the Jams.
I thought about it.
So you thought about this one? Yeah. It's it kind of really captures the heat and the politics and all that. You got the American flag on there, and it's kind of like lysergic with all the overlapping things. It's one of the cool things about my copy. We got three autographs in there of the guys. And back cover, same thing. Looks a little bit like Elvis on there. But what I liked about this, and the point I wanted to make, is that I looked at that cover, and for my whole life, especially the Dennis Thompson down here in the bottom, for my whole life, I pictured when I was playing this album that they were outside in the sun and it was a big field and stuff, and it wasn't recorded at Grande Ballroom, right? So it seemed larger than life, like it was an outdoor gig, maybe the Chicago, the Democratic Convention or something like that, right? It just looks like a great outdoor party time, and that really made the record sound better, at least more cheerful for me, because it's kind of a dark 60s dated kind of caranging heaviness, right? And the theme here is that I felt the same way about Foghat Live for the same reason. So this sounds like a huge celebratory album, great big boogie rock, everybody's partying, not so much because of that, but because of the back again. You just see them standing in front of thousands and thousands of people outdoors, and you think, hey, it's an outdoor gig. This was recorded there, right? So it really helped the album. And a funny thing is, I was looking for my Jethro Tull Bursting Out to just to bolster my Genesis point or whatever. Right next to the Tulls was this Waylon Jennings Music Man, which isn't live, but it looks like the Foghat. Look at that.
Oh my God.
Isn't that cool? So kind of the same deal there. So I thought that was funny. And so for my last honorable mention, I got to put on my Pat Travers Radioactive World Tour 1981 hat. Check that out there.
There you go.
Nice.
Because the last one's the best of these outdoor situations, where you looked at that and you heard the hot, funky rock on here, and you thought huge summer day, because again, you got these amazing outdoor shots, which just took you, and you're not thinking he's playing in some theater or some club somewhere and they're recording this, which would be a downer, a complete bummer. So yeah, all of these albums, I basically feel like they were massive sun-dappled outdoor arena gigs. And that really helps me enjoy those albums. So yeah. I guess
you gotta drive a big rig and talk on a CB radio when you wear a hat like that, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, Breaker 19. What's up,
beauty, eh? Yeah, look at that.
That Pat Travers Band album, though, reminds me of Double Live Gonzo.
Oh, yeah.
And they're in that same genre, that same script, logo, blah, 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 I
got to tell you, I was going to pick that, but my whole life, it's bothered me, that photo with his arms over his head, it weirdly looks like Big Bird. It looks, if you look at it, I've never been able to shake that. Like, I never see what it actually is with him covering his head, because it looks like something with a duck bill or something. It's really weird. So I couldn't pick it because the photo bothered me ever since I got that album. So
that's, oh my God, that's so great. Here we go. I can't.
Classic.
Moodle Phil. If you want blood, you got it. AC/DC. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's all right.
People complain about it because the colors are washed out and it's kind of fuzzy, right?
Right.
Yeah, but that's part of the charm. I think it's scuzzy.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris Flood, Kiss Alive wins hands down. Well,
more on that later.
We might see that one.
Yeah.
And then Brian McFadden, Yes Songs, I like the cover. Well, we might see that too. You never know. But again, I want to thank everybody for popping in. We've got like 53 people here watching, and we have tons of people in the chat. We try to get all to your comments, but we're reading them if we don't hit them. So
Robin Char Live's a nice one. Vandergraaf Vital Live. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's a good
Yeah.
one. Everybody's got such great. Oh, here we go. Ludi Rock and Roll Animal.
Yeah, it's a scary
That
looking
record.
one.
That's a bold one.
Yeah.
That's a bold one. Think about
Yeah.
Lou Reed back in that time period. Would that come out in 73? He kind of reinvented himself right then. And, people probably saw that cover and went, what the heck? But it's good.
Yeah.
All right.
Time for Peter.
Time for Peter. Peter Kerr. It's up to you
All right.
now.
Okay, well, we're going back to the 70s, and you've got to put a Stones album in the mix. So I'm going to put Love You Live from 1977. I love this album cover. It's Andy Warhol. It's pop art. Bit of a lurid cover. I think it sums up Jagger and, the whole personality of the Mick Jagger as that charismatic frontman. This was the album. There's a lot of tracks from 1975 and 76. A lot of Ron Wood in the album. He was touring around that time. He introduced into the band. It's got all the hits: Hot Stuff, Star Star, Brown Sugar, and Sympathy for the Devil. I think it's a mighty fine live album, but as a live album cover, I think it's one of my favorites. Interesting story is there was a little bit of an argument between Keith and Mick as to what would be the track listing and what would be the song selections. So they did a very diplomatic band decision and they got a disc each. So one disc is all of Mick's picks and one disc is Keith's picks. So you've got the best of both worlds. But Rolling Stones, Love You Live, 1977. I think it's a great album cover.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah, that is a good one. Oh, we got Little Feet Waiting for Columbus. Yeah, it's kind of a weird one. Pat Benatar, Live from Earth. There you go.
Oh my God.
Jamie
Jamie
Yeah.
Laszlo.
I didn't pick it. Just says Benatar. It's cool
It's there.
though, but I didn't pick it.
Yeah.
Tokyo
Tapes is a good one too. That's a good
Yeah.
violent looking live shot, right? Tokyo Tapes looks like Clash London Calling, basically.
I can't find Tokyo Tapes. I will say, oh, there it is. Yeah, that's a good one. Brian Scorpions, yes, it's good. Everybody in the chat, awesome picks. I will give you that.
Zep's song remains the same, classy, iconic sort of. That goes down that Beatles at Hollywood Bowl classy kind of look, and that's a hit. That's a Hypnosis one. Yeah. All right, Jamie, what do you got?
All right, Jamie, let's go.
I will say, since Martin's sneaking in about 23 picks into his 5, I will say that,
he's kind of like that. He's kind of like
I was going to go with this, but it was kind of cheating.
It's his show.
It's his
was
show.
The original cover for Evil or Divine by Dio, and they released a lot of live Dio after he died. There's a lot, but it got reissued with this badass cover. 3D. Lenticular, they call it. Lenticular.
Oh yeah, like Satanic Majesties. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very cool. But reissue and just another Dio album, so I didn't pick it. Yeah. This one I picked, and I didn't want to, but I felt I had to. But I didn't want to because I don't have the cool version. I don't know if one of you guys might have it, but I don't know why I didn't buy it in 1995, the cool version. I don't know.
I know what you're talking about. Yep.
I'm going to go with Pink Floyd Pulse. The cover is cool. It does look like Hypnosis, doesn't it? I don't think it is, though. It has the evolution of like the ocean and then turning into little fishies and then coming onto the land. But here's the thing. In 1995, when you bought it, it had the little blinking light on the side and it pulsed. And it was such a cool idea. It did come with a warning, I believe, that said, warning, the battery is good for 6 months and it might blow up. But I think it was such a great idea. If I ever see one for sale out in the wild with the light, even if it's not working, I will buy it and put the battery in there and get it working.
Yeah, you can put a new battery in.
Cool on the wall with the blinking light, especially when all the lights are off and I first come into the room. Yeah. So, yeah, going with Pulse.
Nice.
That's a good one.
That's a great pick. And I read a story that the pulse light was going in some instances for a year.
Oh, yeah.
Be flashing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
I know somebody who replaced the battery in it, and it just like new. Yeah. You can do it. There's a hack. Cool.
Yeah.
There's a hack for everything, kids.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see.
Oh, John McCrae's mentioned Zappa, Roxy, and Elsewhere. Yeah, that's a good hot looking
one.
live one. Yeah, it looks like a lively good time, right?
You know what?
Yeah,
This
Keith's
is a good one. Vinyl Dream, Aerosmith live bootleg. It goes along the lines of the Who live at Leeds.
Yeah,
I think that's a
kind of
great
classy,
cover.
kind of cool. And then, but some Keith's mentioning not liking the exterior so much, but the great inside gate, and that's true too. They kind of make up for the low value end of it, I suppose. Stones definitely have some not great looking ones too, but yeah, Love You Live.
Get your yayas out. It's awful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. I almost picked that because think about it. You might think it's awful, but
so
to
weird.
put Charlie Watts on there with with a donkey and guitar. It's just so odd.
Grabs your attention.
We rock scribblers hate it though, because try to write that title. You got to look it up every time, no matter how many times
dashes between it.
Yeah, just all getting the punctuation right. It's like Run DMC, right?
Well, it's like what we talked about last week. We look at that cover now and you just accept that's the way Get Your Yayas looks, right, Jamie?
Yeah.
You just that's the way it looks. You just don't even think about it anymore. Yeah. Okay, let's see. What do I got? I'm gonna go with let's jump on the we're in that Beatles vein. I'm gonna go with Wings Over America from 1976.
Interesting.
This is just a phenomenal cover. You almost think it. I don't think this is Hypnosis, is it? It almost reminds me of Hypnosis. Great font. You get that side of the plane and just the light leaking out, but you open it up and there's 3 records in there, kids. A big poster, great shot of the band. You know, Jamie's looking for his.
No, you remind me of something though.
Mm-hmm.
But go on.
All right. That's all right, but I'm just saying.
I hope he's pulling out what I think he's getting there.
But one of the great
Martin.
Dean Martin live. That's probably
you're
what
not under H.
Let's see what is he going to show us, or is it the?
I like.
Oh, I know what it is. It's ELP.
I like this.
Oh yeah.
Show it, Jamie. What the hell? Show it.
ELP.
Nice.
The front cover isn't great, but this is really cool.
But that
Similar is
cover
Hawkwind Space Ritual from '73, right? The Barney Bubbles design that folds out into 8 panels, 6 panels, is really cool.
But the Wings one, great artwork, great album, great live shots of the band. I mean, come on. They're pumping money into Paul McCartney at this point, just like they're pumping money into the Beatles. So Wings Over America 1976. I love it. Still stands up. Great cover.
Nice. Yeah. All right. My last choice. We had to have somebody, be responsible and go with the correct answer. And that, of course, is Kiss Alive. Super important album cover. It's the type of album cover like I won't say another one that kind of fits because it might still be someone's pick, but it's the kind of album cover that's a career maker. It's just gorgeously put together. Even the way the guys are all standing, which is kind of posed, of course, but there's just something about the configuration of the guys on there. And Peter's looking like he's way in the background. That just has an otherworldly or slightly elevated kind of stature of a live concert. Everybody looks super cool. The logo's there. You got the smoke and everything, and of course on the back you've got the massive show there, and all the stuff that came with it, and remember the letters and stuff. So this was the album that ruined that at 12 years old dance in our family basement with the April Wine posters. Bobby Davidson came running in, holding this aloft, just bought it downtown Trail, BC, runs in, everybody dog piles on top of him. He's holding it out. We're tearing off the vine, the cellophane, and it turned into a Kiss Alive listening party. And all the girls we looked up and all the girls had gone home. That was the end of that dance, and that's what caused it. Him walking in with the first copy of this into town. But yeah, great album cover. And I almost went with but I had to go with that because it was important to do that one. But I've always liked this album.
Yeah,
no, it looked badly put together. I think it's kind of cool and really classy the way you've got individual shots of the guys, with all completely different lighting and stuff. So it just looked kind of classy and corporate, which felt kind of cool. It's just a really exciting sort of cover. And it's weird that you get, a repeat of the same photos on the back, but that also made me think for some reason corporate, right? And it made the band look look like super big and rich and really high, up the ladder like they were. The annoying part, of course, is that the first album is called Alive! Exclamation mark, and this one's called Alive! No exclamation mark 2, which is annoying as hell, right?
Well, Martin, the greatest thing about that is that when you open up the gatefold, give me a better stage shot.
I went to this concert. I saw this in Montreal. We were on a family vacation. Cheap Trick opened up. And this was the exact show. Yeah, look at that, eh?
When I was a kid and we looked at that, we thought, oh my God, nothing like this at the time.
Kind of like the Iron Maiden gatefold a little bit.
Yeah. And then they this is the one where they sort of, they kind of pooched it on the inners. That's all they did is this stupid live shot and then picture of the albums. So that's one inner. And then the second inner is exactly the same thing. So that was kind of a waste. Although you did get this booklet in it.
Yeah, the booklet
got a little booklet with it. So, and I just wanted to show Kiss Alive 3. I won't show 4 as a protest because 4 is stupid. But Kiss Alive 3, it's an okay cover. Reminds me a little bit of that Sammy Hagar that you had. Yep. So that's my top choice. The I guess kind of the correct answer.
The correct answer.
I didn't want to steal anyone's thunder by picking it.
Holy crap, we've got tons of comments.
Yeah.
Kiss Alive trumps all DC tune time. All right, DC.
Yeah. Ballcat Live. Yeah, I didn't pull out the I didn't
BM
show
Bolt.
that, did I? I better show that. So that's what you get with the Fallcat. It's a die cut, right?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Martin, if that was a die
my
cut.
My autographs in there. That's funny. If I didn't notice that. That's Craig and
I was going to ask you if that was a die cut.
And Roger. Yep, die cut. So that's
all right. Now, BM Bolt says Tom Jones at Caesar's Palace. It just so happens I have that graphic ready to go, and we are going to have to show that because this may be the greatest live album cover of all time.
Oh
man. Look at that.
Oh, wow. I give up. Wait a minute. I'm hitting the wrong button. I'm getting all excited.
Yeah.
Here, let's really take it in all of its glory. Oh, Howard, thanks so much for the donut. We like that.
Yeah.
But look at that. You could not get away with this cover nowadays.
Yeah.
No way in hell.
That's for sure.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else? What else are people saying?
Nazareth Snaz. Yeah, the interesting one. Yeah. Odd color. Yeah, Insurrection's kind of a cool shot. Ramones It's Alive is a good live shot. Doesn't it definitely steps out. Live in Japan I was never crazy about, but I love that live shot used on made in Japan. Sorry, Made in Europe. Right. The live shot on Made in Europe. You know what that reminds me of? That Doobie Brothers album, right? Is that a live album? Our Vices Were Once Whatever, blah, blah, blah.
That's a studio.
Man, I don't like them. But yeah, what a shot on that cover, right? That looks crazy. It looks like Made in Europe, right?
A lot of people want to be Tom Jones.
Yeah.
Deep Purple Live in Japan. Gosh, everybody is on fire tonight. We appreciate the comments.
Elvis at Madison Square Garden. Yeah.
Well,
all right, Peter.
All you needs Elvis on there, and you know what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, Peter Jones.
All right, my last pick, and a quick shout out to my fellow Aussie Bicyclelegs, because this band is one of his all-time favorites, and I'm talking about Devo, and this is the live EP. Now, what I like about this album cover is that you've got a stage set, but they've times it by 3, so it gives a look of multi-leveled stagecraft. This went to number 1 in Australia, and even though it's an EP, I think it's one of my favorite EPs of all time. I love it. They play all the hits, like Whip It, Freedom of Choice, Girl You Want. It's the quintessential new wave live album, in my opinion, and I just love the cover. It just gives that sort of extra grandeur by just putting 3 photographs in one and making it look like a multi-storied concert experience. Devo live.
That's a good one. I love that cover.
Cool.
All right, Mr. Laszlo.
All right, before I do my last one more little honorable mention. I always like to throw some new stuff in there, newer band. Ghost.
Oh, oh, my God,
Ceremony and Devotion. And you got Papa Emeritus there. And it's like paying homage to the old Metropolis silent movie from the 20s, which
Nice.
is really cool.
Yeah.
But my last one, I almost picked this one for our favorite album covers with no text, but there's text in the in this thing where it opens, so I didn't know if that counted. But I'm gonna go with "Rude Awakening" by Megadeth because I just love the cover. It's kind of frightening when you look at it. I mean, could you imagine waking up to that? It scares me a little bit, and the name "Rude Awakening" is just perfect with the picture. The album cover is probably better than the album. To me, Dave Mustaine's voice kind of needs to be mixed well into the music for me, like in the studio. And when I listen to this live album, I'm like, a little here and there. But the cover is a winner.
Yeah.
It looks like a Hypnosis cover.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah. It does.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Oh, we got Iggy Pop and Metallic KO. That's a creepy, seedy looking one. Max Webster Live Magnetic Air. Again, the band is illustrated like Peter's Whitesnake pick, which is kind of cool. So those two go back together. Outlaws Bring It Back Alive is a super heavy looking, red hot. Looks like branding, right? Almost. That one. Worldwide Live Scorpions is a good, energetic, athletic live shot, which reflects their sort of that sort of feel. You've got another vote for Journey Captured there. Parliament Live. Yeah, that's a pretty cool one too. Very colorful. Yeah. All right, Grant, you're up.
All right, here we go. My final one, kids. Once I get it together. There's a lot going on here, people. Okay, so my last one has been mentioned before, but it's iconic, for crying out loud. See, there seems to be a theme with the ones I've picked, and I'm going to go with Yes songs. Another grandiose cover, Roger Dean artwork, and there's plenty of Roger Dean artwork on the inside. It's like 3 record set here. It's amazing. It's robust. It's kind of over the top. The only thing about Yes songs that kind of drives me crazy is that it's kind of a muddy recording. You think it. Here we go, Jamie Laszlo. There you go.
Nice.
Look at that, beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's grandiose. Shit. Yeah, it keeps going.
This is bigger than the ELP thing.
Right.
Nice.
But, we're talking 1973. Things were good. Everybody's spending money on marketing, on records, making a nice product. It's a great area. We'll never see anything like this again, kids. Never.
Yeah.
But I love it. It's iconic, and I still think it stands the test of time.
Nice. Good choice.
There you go.
Yep. Cool.
Well, let's see. Well, it's 7:48. We've got 52 people in the watching. Let's see what we got. Anybody else?
Velvet Underground Live 69. That's an interesting one. Mastodon Live at Brixton. U2 Under a Blood Red Sky is pretty dramatic. I wish that was actually an album, though. It just seems too short.
What is the on the
one
cover?
or two songs too short?
What is it on the cover? What is that? Is that a guy with a gun? I'm not sure.
Isn't it Bono Live? Just very
know.
Obscured, almost like a Cure album cover. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Not too sure. Lotus Santana, it was mentioned before. Greta Van Fleet Live at the Bathhouse. Lotus, yeah.
I didn't even know there was a Greta Van Fleet live album.
I don't know.
Maybe there is.
Maybe it's a joke.
Chris Flood. Yeah, maybe Chris. You pulling her leg.
Yeah. Saga in Transit. Yeah. Remember that one? Yeah. Rush Show of Hands is into their 80s sort of pastel look, right? That one I'm not crazy about.
That's okay. I think that's one of the better
to their
Rush
sound,
live
right?
albums, though.
At that point, yeah.
Yeah,
Different Stages is nice with the Tinker Toys. That's kind of a cool one, classy. Yeah, Kansas was mentioned. New York Dolls Red Patent Leather. Yeah, that's sort of a quasi-official release. Speaking of that, we've got Black Sabbath Live at Last, which is a quasi-official. Not a great cover on that, I suppose. But
I like Pack Up the Plantation, Tom Petty.
Yeah, it's shot of Tom Petty off a monitor, which is kind of cool. In fact, I have the promo poster hanging up there, but I'm not going to pull it down.
Smith's Rank looks like any other Smiths album. You'd never know it was a live album. It's true, right? Dig the New Breed. Yeah, kind of classy, cool new artwork there.
Oh, how about this one? Woodstock. It really gives you the feeling of, love and holding together and getting through the hard times. And
got to mention for Queen Live Killers. That's definitely a cool one too.
Well, Queen, the Who, the Kids Are All Right's not really a live album. That's just like a compilation, but it is a great cover. I will give you that. Yeah, Queen Live Killers. That's one of those records. My God, I would record the record. I'd have like a little tape deck or whatever, and I would ride around on my bike, and we would play music as we rode around. And Queen Live Killers, when I was a kid, was one of those records.
Wow.
That we played all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Nobody's done a shout out for Peter Frampton.
Oh yeah.
I mean, one of the biggest live albums of all time.
Iconic. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's iconic.
Good shot of him. Yeah. Yeah. California Jam 2. Yeah. It's a pretty neat cover on that. Yeah.
Well,
all right, Grant. So
I guess we're done. All right, everybody. I want to thank everybody for showing up. Oh my God, we are almost at 60 people. What a fun discussion. We will be back here next week. And I cannot remember. Martin, what are we talking about next week?
You know what? I'm not sure. And I was going to come up with an idea that I noticed in the comments, but I didn't want to say it because I didn't want people start slamming in examples, right? So I'll mention something offline that I noticed that might be good.
And I don't know, Jamie, Peter Kerr, you're more than welcome to join next week if you're available.
Yes,
I might as well throw it out now instead
What
of
the hell are we going to talk about?
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm sure you guys can
All right.
rally.
I'm sure I'll be here.
We'll sort it out. I've
All right.
got one idea. Yeah.
All right, cool. So stay tuned for that. We'll announce what that topic is. We want everybody here. Come back next week and we will wrap the wrap. So anyway, I want to thank everybody for coming on. Jamie, Laszlo, Peter Kerr, and for Martin and myself, we'll see you next week. Good night, everybody, and have a great rest of the week.
See you later.
See you later.